Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 16th, and today we're going to take a look at our continued active weather across the Pacific Northwest. You can see the storm system affecting us this morning, bringing snowfall off the Cascades of Washington, Oregon, with the very cold air aloft behind this system. We're going to continue the thunderstorm threat across much of the region here, as well as snowfall for the higher terrain, eastern Oregon, Idaho, Montana. So heads up if you're traveling across the mountains today for winter driving conditions. Then we're going to get a decent day Sunday. There's going to be some ridging in front of this next system that you can see out here developing across the Gulf of Alaska. And then a strong frontal system is going to roll through Monday afternoon, and then some more cold air is going to move over us on the day for Tuesday. So we'll take a look at that in some detail here as our very active Pacific Ocean continues. Taking a look around the rest of the country, you can see there's going to be some severe weather down here across the southeast as well. We'll look at that briefly coming up. You can see the winter weather advisories. There's even a winter storm warning across some of the Idaho panhandle here in the northern portions of Montana. Red flag warning New Mexico and Colorado, and you can see severe thunderstorm watch and some warnings going on down there across Arkansas. But you can see these winter weather advisories extend all the way down to the Sierra Nevada. They really need that snowfall down there and some high winds for some of the higher terrain there through the Sierra Nevada, and some wind advisories elsewhere there through Nevada. And this is today that general thunderstorm threat exists across much of the region here. I thought that the SPC may put a little marginal out here for some wind or hail potential across Idaho. I even think there's maybe a little bit of a tornado threat across there. It would be brief though. And then you can see this slight risk down here across Arkansas towards Mississippi and northern Louisiana. And then day 2 tomorrow, generally a nice day across Pacific Northwest. Severe weather down there across the southeast again. And then you can see they kind of introduce that next thunderstorm threat as we go on in through, this is for Monday into Tuesday morning here. But there'll probably be a thunderstorm threat for Tuesday as well. We'll take a look at that in some detail. And now looking at the current system here, this is the wind field here. This is at the surface. You can see a pretty good punch of a little winter storm there for the Bay Area across California. You see the winds really pick up across the higher terrain of California and Nevada here. Might get some blowing dust across some drought regions here through Nevada where it's not raining currently. And you can see those winds moving through Idaho and Oregon here as well. And then you see the frontal system roll in through Monday. But in advance of this, we're going to get probably some decently warm conditions up towards average. And then you can see this next frontal system really churning offshore here as it moves into the area Monday. And then it's going to reintroduce some cold air behind it into our early next week. This is convective available potential energy. This is just how much the atmosphere is going to destabilize. And this is what I was kind of seeing for eastern Idaho there too. It looks like they're going to destabilize pretty well. As you can see also across northern Oregon, northwest Oregon there too, and portions of the Puget Sound and the coastal regions there too. We do have a thunderstorm threat today. So heads up for that. This is taking a look at the forecast of what the Doppler Radar may look like, and you can see some of these stronger storms moving through even portions of Nevada here and Utah. Check these out. I think some of these could be just getting towards the severe stage. And check some of these showers moving out through Olympia South, through the Portland area here too. These might be fairly strong as well. And then you can see some heavier echoes showing up across the Puget Sound later this evening. So could get a rumble of thunder around, so heads up, eyes on the sky today for some small hail, lightning, and maybe some gusty winds. Now this is a supercell composite. You can see how this really picks up across portions of Nevada, Utah, and Idaho here, and a little bit for Oregon too. So some of these showers might be a bit strong as they move through portions of western Washington, Oregon through this afternoon. And this is the updraft helicity. This is kind of what I was looking at here too. You can see this across areas of Idaho there. So you may see a funnel cloud even out there if you're paying close attention out in eastern Idaho. Anyway, here's the lightning potential. As we go on through the day today, you can see this lightning potential does exist for western Washington, Oregon. You can see that move through Nevada, Utah, and Idaho there as well. And this does extend up towards Vancouver Island also. Not so much for eastern portions of the states. It doesn't look like currently, but the thunderstorm threat does exist there according to the SPC. So let's move into Sunday. You'll see this very brief as the system kicks through. And then Sunday looks like a pretty decent day, where we get a break from the thunderstorm activity and we get some ridging in front of this next system. And we go through Monday. We're going to get the strong frontal system through the day Monday. Really no thunderstorm threat with that. And as we go through Tuesday, we might introduce that thunderstorm threat again. Here, as you can see, the cold air will overtake the region again. And check this out. For much of Oregon, Washington, into southern BC, Idaho Panhandle here on Tuesday afternoon. So our active weather will continue here. This is looking at the European model. This is the most recent run. You can see this mainly tracked through Oregon and through Idaho here. It does spread precip into Washington as well, so some snowfall will occur in the Cascades there. As our next system lurks offshore here, as this system finally moves out, and you can see probably a nice day on Sunday. No precipitation really, except maybe some residual showers across the Rockies. And the strong frontal system moves through on Monday. Check it out. It's got quite a punch. It's going to bring some good precipitation amounts across, of course, mainly western portions of British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. It's going to renew the snowfall for mainly the western slopes of the Cascades. And then that cold air will come in behind it again on Tuesday as another system. It could be returning later next week, but we have plenty of time to look at that one. Now, what's going on? Let's look at 10,000 feet here. So you can see the cold air entrenched over the region. This is last night's European run. Kind of marks the system moving through today and tonight. And then we get our decent day Sunday ahead of this next batch of cold air that brings this frontal system through on Monday. Then the cold air again. And you can see the cold air being reinforced over the Gulf of Alaska again in through mid and later next week, continuing to plague the Pacific Northwest. So we just cannot catch a break. And then well off into the extended here, again, another lobe of cold air looks like it's going to be in our forecast as well. So we'll watch these as they come. But right now, it looks like we're going to continue to be active, and there's really not much of a break showing up anytime soon for the Pacific Northwest. So if you like this active weather and you like these thunderstorms and big frontal systems, this is definitely the April for you. Now checking out 18,000 feet, the European, this is the trough that's marking the system moving through today. And then you can see maybe a little bit of ridging here for Sunday. So enjoy this nice day tomorrow across the region. We're going to get a break from the precip. And then we're going to get blasted again here Monday afternoon with another deep trough moving over the area. Some cold air on Tuesday, as we talked about, thunderstorm potential. And then again, another trough moving through probably later next week. Little bit of ridging, but this system up here is probably going to be bringing us precipitation with this, and probably at least a weak front. You can see it's a pretty tight gradient. It's not a ridge where it's going to set up and bring us an extended period of nice weather by any means. We might get a nice day out of it or something, but it's too early to tell at this point. And then maybe here a nice day before another trough moves over the region here on into the extended. And yeah, if we look way out in the future though, here, check this ridge out. Very end of April into early May, a ridge looks like it's going to set up. But we're so far out here. This is over 340 hours out. So it's really not reliable at this point. It's just something we'll watch going on into the future. So maybe some nice weather coming up as we get towards early May. Let's check out the GFS and see if it agrees. Of course, in the short term, there's going to be good agreement. There's the system moving through. A little bit of ridging for the Sunday. And then we get that frontal system Monday. The cold air aloft returns Tuesday. And the next system comes in through later next week. Pretty good agreement there. And then the GFS kind of builds a ridge. So maybe we'll get some nice days on into the following weekend here, according to the GFS. But this system isn't that far away, and this gradient's kind of tight here. So maybe introducing some precip across the region here. We'll just have to see how that goes. We'll look at those day at a time as we go on into the extended. And the GFS does show some ridging on into later April, but then you can see it reintroduces troughing into the area. So we'll have to look at that. We're getting way too far out in fantasy land to have an accurate forecast there. Here's the GFS bringing the system through today. You can see that snowfall come up to the Washington Cascades and the Rockies, generally getting good snowfall amounts out of that. And then our nice day on Sunday, some residual showers before this frontal system. Like I said, it packs quite a punch, and you can see some renewed snowfall for the Cascades. Looks at all the way down to the Siskiyous with this one, and then the cold air behind it coming in on Tuesday just to continue our active weather. And here's Snowfall Map. You can see Oregon getting a really good shot of snowfall out here, especially for mid-April, all the way down through the Sierra Nevada. That's a pleasant surprise for California. Good snowfall for the Rockies here. There are some pretty good drought concerns across some of Montana and Idaho as well. And then you can see the next system here really brings some good snowfall through southern British Columbia, the higher terrain of Vancouver Island, Olympic Mountains, western Oregon. So this, this snowpack that we're bringing in here is going to be good. Even I know a lot of people want warm weather. I'm getting a lot of comments about it, but this is good for drought concerns, even though you can see that it's not really affecting some of these areas of eastern Washington, but it does bring some snowpack. It does help these local river runoffs. This is Everett looking at the next 10 days here. You can see generally below average temperatures. You can see we go for some cooler periods and then maybe a nice day or two at times in between these troughing systems and fronts that will move through the area. And this is for Seattle, Tacoma, generally below average, but maybe a couple of nice days we'll squeeze out of here. And the following weekend, we'll have to watch that closely, but you can see the troughing never seems to be far away during this spring. Here's Seattle, Tacoma. You can see the wetness of this Monday frontal system moves through the area. It's going to bring some pretty good precipitation around the region here. So if anybody's out planting those early crops, you'll get a good dosing of rainfall during the afternoon Monday. And then we'll see how those systems line up later on in the week. It looks like it's continued active, and then maybe we'll start to get some breaks later in the extended. But too early to tell on that. Here's Crater Lake. They're getting a decent snowfall out of this event currently, and then they'll get some decent snowfall out of this next frontal system Monday. So just checking out the southern Oregon Cascades there, and then maybe even continue on with that troughing that continues on into the extended. This is Stampede Pass. A little bit of snow out of this system today and tonight, and then that frontal system will bring some good snowfall on Monday afternoon and evening for Stampede Pass, and maybe continue active as we saw. And this is Kamloops way into British Columbia here. You can see they're in the interior of British Columbia here, so they get shielded from these Pacific storms a bit more. But looks like that system is even going to affect them, the Monday system, as this moves on into British Columbia here, eastern portions. And check out the temperatures out there. Chilly April for Kamloops. I know they warmed up pretty good last summer, so they might not mind this too much because the heat is probably going to be back this summer, as we'll take a look at one of the future forecast coming up here. We're also taking a look at, we may go into a third La Nina. There is a chance that we could go 3 years in a row La Nina here, but the general consensus of the models does say we will be headed toward a neutral year, but a neutral year can still be snowy and cool also, but it probably will not be so long lasting, especially into next spring. These La Nina years really keep our springs chilly here in the Pacific Northwest, and the neutral years not so much. So we'll take a look at that here in the next few days. I'll bring up the La Nina maps, and we'll check out the forecast for the extended on that. And we'll kind of look at what that means for the Pacific Northwest. So if you guys like these videos, click like and subscribe and keep leaving comments. And we'll do this again tomorrow. And we'll check out this frontal system and check out our thunderstorm potential behind that and see what the extended brings. And maybe we'll get some of that hinting for some nice ridging here later on in the month and bring some warm weather to the area finally. You know, we've had a couple nice days at times, but really the majority of the spring has just been marked by this deep troughing over the Gulf of Alaska. It continues to push systems through the area, and that doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon in the next 10 days, even though we may bring a nice day or two in the meantime between some of those systems, including tomorrow. So get out and enjoy the day tomorrow. Click like and subscribe, leave some comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later.